Welcome back to Dust Not Included. My name's Roy and I'm at another Goodwill grand opening. Can you believe that? That's two in my town in the same month. Let's go check out this new Goodwill. Well, look at this. They have the red carpet out, this little blow-up guy, and a balloon arch. I'm also over on eBay where you can find lots of awesome vintage, like the items here. Follow me on Instagram for lots of awesome updates. Well, I grabbed the cart and I didn't really know where to head, so I headed straight over to the records. Look at all the records here. Let's see. There's this Christmas Carol record down here. Do you recognize any of these artists? It looks like all the home goods are in that back corner. That's where I want to be, so let's get back there. This Goodwill's large. It's in an old Walgreens. Well, I finally made it back, and look what I found. It's an Italian Florentine tray. I don't know. That little circle on there has me concerned. It looks like it may have gotten damaged. They're asking $3.99 for it. Yeah, that circle's right in the center. Maybe someone put something hot on it, or I'm not sure, but I don't think that's supposed to be there. Well, looks like the first aisle here is going to be the figurines. The first thing I noticed were these fans. Look how interesting. They look like they're in good shape. I'm gonna put these in the cart. This little guy's cute. It's a little angel planter. That little cherub is so adorable. They're asking $1.99 for him, and I believe he'd go for around 8 to 10. Look at this, it's another little cart planter. She's cute with the little flowers. They're asking $7.99 for her. This here is an eyeglass holder with a little dish. It's called Picasso's Nose. It's from the 90s, and I think it's a kind of interesting piece. Right next to it, I checked out this little rabbit. They were asking $5.99 for him. Oh no, Well, this back here is a little map of the stars. You would turn it to the month and it would tell you what constellations were around. I guess that's what they had before Google. Over here is a Hummel ornament set. There were 4 of them. They are made by Goodwill. They were asking $4.99 for the set of 4. Well, here's a few owl figurines. Look at this cute one. They're asking $5.99. I tried to see if I could find a maker to peel back that tag a little bit. There was a sticker, but I couldn't quite make it out. Right next to him was this other owl with his wings spread. They were asking $7.99 for it, and it was made by Royal Crown. On the end cap here, there was this individual tea set. It looks like it was going to be a luster, but it turned out to be a modern piece. Look at this pottery picture up here. I love the colors. I checked the bottom. It didn't have a maker, but the pattern was just so nice. I'm gonna have to pick this up and do some research. It is just so pretty. Look at this, another great find. It's a Design Gifts Incolay box. Ooh, it's also a music box. And it was signed Robert Neiman. Let's see if it works. Well, it's working, and I can't wait to bring this home. Well, down here I noticed 4 lusterware plates. They were asking $9.99 for them. They're luncheon plates, and they had a bird and some flowers. They also had 2 teacups. However, one of the teacups was all faded and damaged. Too bad, because I don't see purple lusterware that often. I thought it was really pretty. On the top here, they had this glass bowl, but of course there was a chip on it. Leave a comment below. I'd love to know what type of items you never pass up. Well, looks like they have a holiday aisle, so let's check this out. I was mostly seeing contemporary items.
That's fine. Thank you, Will. Thank you.
I did check out these trays. They were tin, but they were also modern. Well, this is a pretty art glass bowl. Look at the lacy edging. That's really nice. They were asking $4.99 for it. I did spot this imperfection. It's a little bubble in between the glass. You can't feel it. It is really pretty. I noticed it had a clear Murano sticker, but it looks like it also had little hairline cracks on the inside of the glass. You couldn't feel them from the outside, but you could definitely see them. Too bad, because it was a really pretty piece. This Cobalt teacup was really nice. They were asking $5.99 for it. I also liked this pot. Look at that splatterware. I turned it over and it was a contemporary piece, not a vintage one. They were asking $5.99. It was made by Golden Rabbit. As a contemporary piece, it sells between $12 and $15. Still really pretty for $8.99. Too bad this teapot was missing its cover. They were only asking $2.99 for it. Well, over in the wood aisle, I'm checking out a couple of these baskets. They were mostly modern and didn't have a maker on them. They were asking $5.99 for each basket. Well, in the back here, they had this really patriotic piece. They were asking $7.99 for it. I was happy to find this shelf. It's a wicker and bamboo shelf. I was a little nervous about how faded that rattan was. I did put it in the cart to think about though. I ended up putting it back, but not without a ride around the store. This TV tray was really interesting. It was an original piece of artwork on there. The artist's signature was on the bottom. It did need some cleaning, but it was also marked on the back. So I decided to put it in the cart and look it up. They have lots of beautiful one-of-a-kind pieces. There was also this wooden box down here for $5.99. It looks like somebody may have made it with a wood burning and carving kit. I did check it out, but decided not to pick it up.
That way my mother's storage room, I bet you I think
These little pinecone hedgehogs were fun. They were asking $3.99 for the small one and $11.99 for the large one. I debated for a little bit because they were so cute. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Look at this beautiful Empoli vase. I had just checked this end cap and someone had just put this one out. It was so pretty in this purple color. It was quite large as well. I had to pick this up. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Well, let's see what's on this yellow end cap. On the top shelf, they had this cookie jar. It was a cute little bear. I decided to take him down to take a look at him. He looked like he had a bunch of cracks and somebody repaired him and put him back together. Too bad, little guy. The shelf below him had this Occupied Japan rooster planter. They were asking $2.99. I really liked it and was planning to pick it up, but then I noticed it had a crack right through it. Jeez. Too bad. I like roosters. There were also these amber glass bowls. They were really pretty, but kind of on the plain side. They were asking $5.99 for the large one, and the small one didn't match, but they were asking $4.99 for that one. An interesting little creamer here for $2.99. And I liked these wooden carved candlesticks, but unfortunately those were broken too. On the shelf right above, I found this Wattware bowl. It's from the 1940s. It's stoneware, and they were asking $2.99 for it. Look at this! Someone made a poodle bottle cover. They did a good job. They also had this kerosene lamp for $9.99. This Pottery jug candlestick holder was interesting. I loved the colors. On the back it said made expressly for Old Harbor. I did look it up and it was selling between $10 and $12. Hey, I remember this Skippy jar from when I was a kid. And right next to it was a Fenton handled bowl. It looked like it came from an antique store. They were asking $9.99 for it. Well, checking out the mugs, I spotted this Hull mug. They were asking $5.99 for it. And it had a chip. This little Demi-Tasse cup was cute. But overall, I didn't see any coffee mugs I had to pick up. Well, they sure had a lot of sets down below.
See anything, Rosie?
Well, checking out the rest of the dishware aisle, look at the lemonade pitcher. They had a lot of souvenir plates. And this vintage mixing bowl was really nice as well. They were asking $9.99 for this mixing bowl. It would look great out on a table. Well, at the end of this dishware aisle, I spotted the linens, so I went over to take a look. The first one I noticed was this table runner with some doilies. Maybe it's a dresser runner. I decided to take a closer look at it. I believe it to be machine stitched, not hand stitched. They were asking $3.99 for the set of 3. I decided to see if I could find any more. Unfortunately, there was no such luck. On the bottom shelf here, I spotted this footed dish. It was all lacy, and when I turned it over, it was made by the International Silver Company. They were asking $7.99 for it though. On the other side, they had these 2 silver overlay pieces. These are both in the poppy pattern. They were asking $2.99 for the pedestal dish and $3.99 for the rectangular tray. Right in back of those was this fantastic brass fish. I believe that's an angelfish. I really liked this piece and definitely picked it up. Checking out the rest of the end cap, on the top shelf I noticed these mirrored clocks. I thought they were really pretty, and I was hoping they were going to be Italian. Unfortunately, I found a sticker on them that said made in China, so it's a modern reinterpretation of a vintage piece. They were still really pretty. Well, down here I found some mid-century modern string art. I wish all the strings weren't broken though. I checked out the rest of the frame pieces down here. This here looks like an original photograph, but it was kind of plain. On the other side of the aisle were more artwork, so I decided to check the rest of these out. Another piece of string art, look at this. And again, the strings are broken. They were asking $5.99 for this one. It is definitely a vintage piece, but I wish they took more care not to break all the strings. Well, look at this. It looks like someone made this. Kind of interesting, don't you think? Overall, this Goodwill had a lot of interesting pieces, and I'll definitely be checking them out again. You can also find me over on District on both Vamp and Knickknack marketplaces. If you use the code DustKnow80, you can get $5 off your first purchase on District. Join Janides and myself this Thursday at 6:30 for a vintage live sale. It's gonna be a blast!